Cadence Design Systems stock has surged in this market rally with shares roaring to new highs in May and never looking back. The electronic design software leader also is a member of IBD's long-term leaders portfolio. That underscores the company's long track record of not just share price outperformance, but fundamental strength over the long term too. And who better to provide insight into the company's success than Cadence Design Systems CEO Lip-Bu Tan, who joins me now. Thanks for being here today, Lip-Bu.
Thank you, Alisa. Thank you for inviting me.
Okay, great. Now, the company is very uniquely positioned to benefit from long-term technological themes that are still in the early stages, like 5G, self-driving cars, and artificial intelligence, just to name a few. So talk to us about how Cadence is helping enable these sorts of innovations.
Yeah, let me start with the overview of the company. Cadence Design is a kind of computational software specialized in the electronic design automation software. So we provide the software tool, IP, and hardware verification, and that is what we do. And then we have a strategy to move on to intelligent system design. And in the way we provide the in design excellence, that's EDA and IP that we have currently. And we move on to the next level, next layer, is called system innovation. That is work on the system analysis and also the embedded software. Then the next layer will be the pervasive intelligence, that is AI, machine learning, to the vertical market. And a little bit background, the company is about 8,300 people and revenue is about 2.6 billion. And we grew about 11% a year this year. And then the operating margin at 33%. Market cap is about 31 billion. And that's kind of our background of the information of the company.
Great. And let's talk a little bit more about that growth that you mentioned that the company is experiencing. What areas of the business do you expect to continue to drive that growth moving forward over the next year?
Yeah, a couple of things. Like you mentioned earlier, the 5G, the autonomous driving, AI, machine learning, deep learning, and also the industrial automations. We call it the Industry 4.0, and also the whole hyperscale data center. Those are the 5 generation of waves that happening. And then right at the foundation is the electronic design, and that's where we come in. And so this is a very exciting time. And then the other part is basically that drive the growth is that we move into, I call it the data-centric revolution. It's all about data. And so how do you, create that, collect the data, by, generating the data, and then to organize the data, labeling the data, to do the data analytics, and then how do you store and transmit the data. And that is really transforming all the vertical industry. And that is really exciting for us. So I think we have a couple of things that are working for us. One is a hyperscale data center. They are all quietly building their own silicon to optimize their workload. And that was really a nice growth for us. And then same thing with autonomous driving. They have all the silicon, the sensor development. That is very exciting for us. And then the other big one is the industrial automation. They have all the data. How do you use the data to drive efficiency and productivity? And that really drives some of this, I mentioned earlier, intelligent system design, that we increase our TAM from 10 billion to 30 billion. So there's a huge opportunity to grow, and that's what we are excited about.
Yeah, it sounds like a huge total addressable market there. Can you put this into action for us a little bit? Give us an example of how you guys are really leveraging data to come up with solutions.
Yeah, so the design getting more and more complex. And so it really needs our design solution software to really drive the improvement. And then even we use ourselves, the AI machine learning, to our own tool design, so that we use the parallelism, we use the AI machine learning because we have so much data. How do we drive better solutions for our customer? At the end of the day, is we really want to delight the customer so that they can design all the cool products that you and I can enjoy using. And that's something that we provide. And then the innovation, that the tool improvement, and so that our customer, not just a semiconductor company, also a lot of system service providers, they can designing their product and then really optimize their solution to address a different workloads.
Now, when you're talking about a company that has seen such a long, successful track record of growth as Cadence has, innovation, as you're mentioning, is very key to making that happen. So, how is Cadence able to keep up with the demand, from your customers to be able to deliver those cutting-edge solutions when you have these new technological advancements cropping up and things are changing constantly, it seems?
Yeah, so a couple of things. I used to be a basketball player. I like to have a good team. And so I think the team culture is very important for us. And then the other part is, constant adaptive learning that I mentioned is important so that we keep learning new things and also listen to the customer closely. So I spend a lot of time with customer. So understanding what is their challenges and how can we provide the solution. And then I have a culture that in 48 hours, we get back to a customer. So we listen to them. They tell us where we need to improve and what are the challenges they need. And then most of the customer trust us as a trusted partner because we listen to them. We want to delight them. We do all the innovations to help them. And through some acquisition, sometimes they even recommend which company to acquire, which product we need to have so that we can serve them better. So I think at the end of the day, it's basically, we have the best product to drive innovation to them. And one thing to highlight, last 3 years, we have more than 20 organically developed products to support the customer. And then thirdly, we also use some of the acquisition to help, strengthen our products. And most important, listen to the customer and be their trusted partner.
Yeah, and 2020 has been a year that has thrown a lot of companies curveballs. So how have you been able to adapt this year? And what would you say is your biggest goal for the company in the coming year? And what are you going to do to work towards that goal?
Yeah, it's a challenging year, COVID-19 pandemics. But we basically, tried most of the employees, about 90% of the employee working from home. So we try to make sure that they can be productive. So we communicate a lot with our employee, our executive team, and then we also give them stipends to, get all the right equipment, the comfortable chair, and then, high-speed connectivity so that they can be productive. And also we use all the different tools for them to collaborate closely and also can communicate with customer, engaging with customer. And so we're not going to lose a beat on that. And then I think that's very important for us, and then able to continue to innovate. I think that's very important. And then the other part is also we want to be the culture of inclusive, so that we include every different race and diversity in terms of gender, and so that we can work together collaboratively and over communicating. And that's very important. And then also we want to take care of the employee. So we give them extra time, and sometimes they work so hard with the Zoom or WebEx, and then we basically give some extra holidays for them so that they can really spend a balance with the family, the children, and then with work, and so that they can motivate and enjoy what they're doing. And that's very important. And so far, have been working very well for us. And then we're able to reaffirming our 11% growth for the year. And this is very unusual and very challenging market that we can be able to do that. And then one is the team working together. And then secondly, because our resiliency of our business, and our business is very predictable. And also we are contract with our customer is 2.5 years. And then we kind of work with them in the long term, the trusted relationship. And then, and also our revenue model is a ratable model. So that is very predictable. 85-90% of revenue is come from the backlogs, and that is very, shareholder love it, and that is very predictable. And then customer love it, so that we can work on more strategically important to them.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of customers, who would you say are some of the key customers that you have, and what would you say is the biggest competitive advantage that Cadence has in helping you win those customers?
And we have a very broad customer base, in the thousands, and so big and small, and they're all important to me. And so it's ranging from the infrastructure player, automotive player, so mobile handset that you use, and then all the way to some of the industrial electronics. So almost anything that's electronic, they depend on my software tool and also IP for design. And so that is a very broad, and we're happy to have all the customer that work closely with us. In terms of competitive advantage, one, I mentioned earlier, we work as a team. And so every function, we work well together as a team. And then secondly, we delight the customer. We pay attention to customer, listen to their pinpoint, their challenges. We try to find solution for them. And then thirdly, continue the innovations. And I always believe the best product win. And it's very important. The customer would like to have the best product. So we always look out, 5 years, 10 years, what the customer need. And then how do we build that, or through acquisition to get there so that we can delight the customer.
All right. Well, on that note, Lip-Bu, we've got to leave it there, but thank you so much for your time today and for explaining the driving forces behind the company's impressive growth.
Thank you so much, Lisa.